Hey, what up, guys? It's Patrick for Sandwich Hour, and I know that it's super early. E3's not until June, but I just wanted to do. I just wanted to. I've been thinking about this a lot. I wanted to do a prediction video of what I think Nintendo is going to announce at E3. Nintendo has a lot of great recognizable franchises, and almost anything could really make E3 their 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 huge success. And I just have a quick list of predictions and some of my crazy fanboy hopes that I doubt will ever happen. But first of all, I think that definitely we are going to hear about a new playable Super Smash Bros. Character. We're going to see a trailer for a new DLC character in Super Smash Bros. I think that most likely it would be Wolf or Roy. They're two characters that were fairly popular when they were in the game in the previous games, and people have been calling for Roy to come back since Melee for some reason. I think Wolf is a little more likely than Roy, but on top of that, there was actually a Reddit user who claims that he found music files in the Super Smash Brothers in one of the Super Smash Brothers patches for Ryu of Street Fighter. And if that's not an E3 level announcement, I don't know what is. Ryu being in freaking Super Smash Bros. I'm having trouble even picturing it. It sounds so great. And other than that, I do think that we're going to get an update as to the status of the next Zelda game. It was delayed until 2016, and I think that E3 would be the perfect time to release a new trailer or a new gameplay demo or something to really show off why Zelda deserved an update, a delay. I mean, Zelda getting delayed is nothing new. Zelda games are always getting delayed, but I do think that if you go through an E3 without talking about Zelda, you are making a mistake, Nintendo. On my other major I absolutely think this will happen, is that I think we're going to hear about some new amiibos. I think amiibos are one of the coolest ideas Nintendo has ever had. Yes, I know Skylanders and Disney Infinity probably did them first. Who cares? But Nintendo is really pushing the amiibos. They are selling like crazy. I think that we're going to hear about new amiibos, and I think we're going to see a Ganondorf amiibo. I don't think that has happened yet, and it's crazy for me to think about that. Ganondorf and I don't know, maybe Dixie Kong or something. Those are the two that stick out of my head. Okay, now those are the three things I definitely think will happen. The next few predictions are my semi-plausible ones. I do think that we will be getting an update on Star Fox. We were supposed to have it had been announced that a Star Fox game would be released in 2015, and we've had almost no information since then. And I think that E3 is the perfect time for a quick Star Fox trailer. The American Nintendo fan base loves them some Star Fox, and I was actually very surprised to see that there was no Star Fox trailer in the April Nintendo Direct. So, quick trailer at E3 would be the great thing to calm the masses, especially since I think it has been delayed. If there hasn't been a Star Fox trailer, if there is not a Star Fox trailer at E3, I think it's safe to assume that game has been canceled. In which case, killing me, Nintendo. You keep canceling Star Fox games. You cannot let the last Star Fox game be Star Fox Command. That game was terrible. I also think that it's highly plausible that we will hear about new Pokemon games. Recently, Pokemon has a trend of releasing a new main series game every year, and I think that they're only getting better. And because I loved X and Y, I loved Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, and I think that we're going to get a sequel to the X and Y games. Not a third version, not like Platinum or Crystal, but I think we're going to get X2 and Y2 like we had Black 2 and White 2. I think that Kalos had a lot of untapped potential for story, and that a follow-up sequel is the best way for them to proceed with that. And I'm expecting that there will be new Mega Evolutions announced, and hopefully fingers crossed, we'll have a Battle Frontier come back for these Pokemon sequels, because the Pokemon X and Y post-game is kind of barren. Top of that, speaking of Pokemon, I think that we're going to hear news about a console release for Pokken Tournament. Those of you that don't know, Pokken is an arcade game in Japan. It's basically Pokemon Tekken. It's a quick Pokemon fighting game, and I do remember reading somewhere that the developers of Pokken were looking at updating it and porting it to Wii U, and I think that's a good, solid E3 announcement for like your mid game, where you have like Super Smash Brothers as your opening and like Star Fox or Zelda as your ending. You could put Pokken Tournament right in the middle and have it be solid. And I think that we will have Animal Crossing for the Wii U. Animal Crossing is one of Nintendo's biggest franchises right now. We already know we're getting a spin-off for the 3DS, the Happy Home Designer. That's coming out, and I think that a sequel to New Leaf, Animal Crossing U, or whatever they end up calling it, I think that that's a strong idea, and that could be a good, solid game for holiday 2016. It's something that would really help them, I think. And the last semi-plausible prediction I have is that we would get a new trailer for either Fire Emblem or Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem. These two games are being more and more talked about in the gaming community. Nintendo pretty much made them and Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros. The focus of their last Nintendo Direct. Nintendo really was impressed with the sales of Fire Emblem Awakening, and they want to keep riding that high. A lot of new Fire Emblem got a lot of new fans through Awakening, and you really don't want to jerk us around with Fire Emblem. I don't know what it is. I think we'll actually get an official title for the new Fire Emblem game at E3 at the very least. And on top of that, Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem was announced in 2013. There had been no news about it until a trailer last April just came out of nowhere and got people excited for it again. And I think that it's a smart business decision to have an update as to what the status of that is. And I think that E3 would be the good time to have a release date. It is the most covered gaming event of the year, and it just makes good sense to me. And now for my crazy, outlandish fanboy hopes. These are things that I don't think are going to happen. I think that they're crazy to even think about, but they're what I want the most. I want a new Metroid game. Ask any American Nintendo fan, and they will tell you that they love Metroid or that they haven't played it. But Metroid is huge, and not only do I want a new Metroid game, I want to hear that Retro Studios is coming back on it. Retro Studios made the Prime games, everybody loves them, and after the way that Team Ninja sort of bungled Other M, I think it's a good way to win back the Metroid fan base. Even if Retro Studios announces that, I know that Retro Studios has been working on a new project for a while. They've been talking about it, but keeping a lot of the details secret. And it's either going to be Metroid or another Donkey Kong game like Returns and Tropical Freeze, since they're so good at those, and those have been so well received. But Metroid would really get the hype machine going. On top of that, I would love to hear, if Star Fox were delayed, I would love for that to be because Platinum Games took over Star Fox. Platinum Games made Bayonetta and The Wonderful 101. They were a recent acquisition by Nintendo. And the creator of Bayonetta, Hideki Kamiya, he has said multiple times that he would love to work on a Star Fox game. And, I mean, I think that sort of high-paced energy fits so well with Star Fox, and that he would do, and his team would do a great job with it, and I would be totally okay with hearing that Star Fox had been delayed because Platinum Games wanted to take a crack at it. On top of that, I got the guys behind Hyrule Warriors said they wanted to keep making crossovers with Nintendo. Right now, last I heard they were working on a crossover with One Piece, which I would love to hear gets a Wii U release, but regardless, I want to hear that they're working on another Nintendo crossover, because Hyrule Warriors was amazing. It was so much fun. It sold a lot better than Nintendo expected, and if it's a Hyrule Warriors 2, I think it's a good way to help appease the Zelda fanboys who were a little upset when they heard that Zelda Wii U has been delayed. But if not Zelda, I think there are 3 possible candidates as to who Dynasty Warriors would cross over with. I think that Mario, because, I mean, Mario is Nintendo, and if you want to work with Nintendo, you sort of want to work with Mario. Metroid and Kid Icarus, I feel, are the other two, because they fit. I feel that they fit the best with that style. Metroid because it's about one lone badass facing down a horde of enemies, and Kid Icarus because I think that I haven't played it yet, but from what I can see, Kid Icarus Uprising reminds me a lot of the Dynasty Warriors, and I'm not entirely sure why. It just seems to be a similar style of fast pace, blowing through enemies, and I could be completely wrong about that, and I'm sorry. I would love to hear about a new Paper Mario game. I mean, people are always talking about new Paper Mario games because they are so beloved by critics. I don't know much about the sales of Paper Mario, but I think that a new Paper Mario game is an E3 level announcement, and I would love to hear about that. And my most crazy idea, which I highly, highly doubt is going to happen, is that we would hear about a new F-Zero game or a new Mother game. F-Zero, I feel, is more likely than Mother, because F-Zero had 2 tracks in the DLC for Mario Kart, and that's either an homage to Nintendo history, like I feel like the Excite Bike track was, or it's a way to stealthily promote F-Zero, because people are like, what's Mute City? What's Big Blue? And bam, F-Zero game. Mother, less likely, but Mother always has the huge, crazy cult fan base, and it would be a good way for Nintendo to get some clout back. Maybe not make a lot of money, but get some clout. So, those are the Nintendo E3 predictions. I definitely do think Super Smash Bros., Zelda, Amiibo, Star Fox, those are the 4 pillars of Nintendo's E3 announcements this year. I can't wait for Nintendo to prove me wrong, and I really can't wait for Nintendo to prove me right. So, that's Sandwich Hour. See you next time.